Okay, Chapter 9. Chemical bonding 1. There will be a chemical bonding 2 as well. In this chapter, we're going to go over the Lewis model for chemical bonding. A little bit of backstory. 1989, the structure of Hiv protease was determined. HIV obviously is a big health problem, and lots of research being done on how to cure, prevent, etc. HIV. So this protease is a protein, an enzyme that the virus uses, and by determining the structure of it, then scientists were able to develop some molecules or discover some molecules that could disable the enzyme. These molecules do that by binding to the active site of the enzyme. Bonding theories were used to help simulate shapes of potential drug molecules and determine how they would interact without actually having to do the rather complicated experiments, and so it saves a lot of time that way. The protease inhibitors don't cure HIV, but they reduce the viral levels to undetectable as long as you keep taking the medicine. So that's a big step in the fight against AIDS, and it's due to bonding models, so they're very important. Bonding theories or bonding models explain how atoms bond together to form molecules. And this helps us to understand why some molecules are stable and some molecules are not. They also help us to predict shapes, and the shapes of molecules have a big effect on their chemical and physical properties. So there are different models, and we've got trade-offs between predictive power and complexity. At one end, you've got very simple, like the Lewis model, easy to understand, but then it has some limits in what it can predict and how many different things it applies to. And then you go up to like molecular orbital theory, much more complex, difficult to understand, but then it predicts a lot more stuff. So we're going to look at the Lewis model, and we're going to look at valence bond theory, and we're going to look at molecular orbital theory. But those more complicated ones, we're just going to look at a little bit. So the Lewis model is the simplest one. And in this, the valence electrons are represented as dots. So we draw these Lewis structures or Lewis electron dot structures as an illustration of the molecule. They're very simple. But they do help us predict shapes of molecules and to predict whether a molecule is likely to be stable or not. So it's really useful that way.